Hi guys, this is Karthik. In this video, I'll be discussing the second problem of the tree algorithm section of CSES. First of all, if you haven't tried the problem, I would recommend you to pause the video and try it on your own first. Alright. So the problem says that we are given with a tree having n nodes and of course n minus 1 edges. Now a matching is a set of edges where each node is an endpoint of at most one edge. What is the maximum number of edges in a matching? So we want to select some of the edges of this particular tree, right? So I'll just take an example to explain, it will be better that way. So you have 5 nodes in your tree and let's say node number 1, there's an edge from 1 to 2, an edge from 1 to 3, an edge from 3 to 4 and an edge from 3 to 5. Now you would like to select maximum number of edges such that no endpoint, right? No endpoint is repeated. So for example, you can select this particular edge and now you cannot select any edge which has its endpoint either 1 or 2. Okay. So the idea is if you select an edge that connects two nodes u and v, you can no longer select any other edge which has the endpoint either u or v. So in this example, you can select the edge 1 comma 2 and then you can select either the edge 3 4 or you can either select the edge 3 5. So let's say I go and select 3 and 5. So this is called a matching and the number of edges in this matching is equal to 2, right? No matter what kind of edges I try out, I cannot select more than 2 edges, okay? So you can try out various possibilities of selecting edges. The algorithm in that way will be 2 to the power n. You can try out all the subsets of different kind of edges to be your matching. You can see if the matching is valid or not. If it is, then you can see what the size of that matching is, right? But among all the possible matchings in this graph or tree, the maximum answer you are going to get is the size of the largest possible matching is 2. Yeah, so let's get started and think of an efficient algorithm to solve this particular problem. Yeah, so imagine that you have a tree and let's root that tree arbitrarily at any node, maybe node number 1. So this is without loss of generality. You can root your tree at any node as you wish. Now this node is going to have some number of children and further on like that. So you have a kind of a tree. Now you will think whether I want to include an edge that has an endpoint 1 or not, right? You just have two options. Either you include an edge with the endpoint 1 or you choose not to include any edge that has one of the endpoints as 1. So two options. Either include an edge that is of the form 1 comma some node 1 comma x maybe, right? Or do not include any edge that has one of the endpoints 1. Now among these two possibilities, let's see what happens further, and we will try to break the entire problem into similar kind of sub problems so that we are able to divide and conquer and apply dynamic programming. Okay, so imagine that I do not include, right? I don't include any edge that has one as one of its endpoint. So I'm not including this edge, I'm not including this edge, and I am not including this edge. So what you can clearly see is that your problem has reduced into three similar kind of sub problems. And what you would like to do now is for these three subtrees, or portions of your tree, you would like to find out for these three independent portions what is the maximum possible size of matchings, right? So let's say for this particular tree rooted at this node, the size of the matching comes out to be m1. For this particular tree, the size of the matching, the size of matching means the number of edges in the matching you have selected. Okay, for this it might turn out to be M2, and for this it might turn out to be M3. So what you can clearly see is that if you do not include node number 1, then your problem reduces down into 3 similar sub-problems, and your answer in this case is simply going to be the solution to this plus the solution to this plus the solution to this. So if I don't include any edge that has node number 1 as its endpoint, my problem nicely breaks down, right? That is cool. But what if I do include one of the edges? Okay, let's see then what happens. So if I do include one of these edges, then what's going to happen is, first of all, it depends which of the edges do I include, right? And secondly, how does my problem break down into similar sub-problems? Imagine that I select this guy. Okay, I am selecting this particular edge to include. So now these two subtrees are still independent of whatever the choice I made above, right? Because I did not select this edge and I did not select this edge, so these two subtrees don't really care whether that edge was selected or not. So I can still go on and solve these two independently, right? So now I'm simply solving the problem of finding the maximum possible size of matching for these two smaller subtrees, right? So that is no problem, I'll do it. But what happens in this particular subtree? In this particular subtree, I can no longer select any edge which has the endpoint as same as this guy. Okay, why? Because I selected one, and let's call this node U. So I cannot have any edge selected that has one of its endpoint equal to U, right? So with this intuition, I'll be defining two things and we'll see how we can relate them. So I'll define dp of u comma 0 and dp of u comma 1. So let this be the possibility, dp of u comma 0 be the possibility in which I do not include, first of all, u dp of u means I am thinking about a subtree rooted at node number u, and in general I've rooted my entire tree at node number 1, and now I'm thinking about the subtree that is rooted at node number u. Okay, so dp of u would mean what is the maximum possible size of matching that I can select. Okay, and dp of u comma 0 means that I do not select any edge that has its endpoint equal to u. Okay, I don't select an edge that has one of its endpoint equal to u, and dp of u comma 1 would mean that I do select an edge which has the endpoint as u. I'll just write it down. Max possible size of matching so that no edge of the type u comma x is selected, right? Whereas in this particular case it is maximum possible size of matching so that I do select one edge of the type u comma x. So this thing is clear now, but even if I know this for every node, what is going to be my answer? Okay, so you can pause the video and think, if you know this particular information for every node, then what is your answer? Okay, so since you've rooted the tree at node number 1, there are just two possibilities, right? Either you do select an edge that is having one of its endpoint equal to 1, or you do not select it. Since there are just two possibilities, your answer is going to be the better of the two possibilities. That means the maximum of the two. So if you're able to evaluate these two things for every node, your answer is going to be max of dp of u comma 0 1 comma 0 because I've rooted the entire tree at node number 1. You can root it at any node as per your choice, but I like to root it at node number 1 only. And that's it. This is going to be your answer if you're able to evaluate the recurrence, right? Let's see how we can build recurrences for these two. So first of all, let's try to make a recurrence for dp of u. We're thinking about a subtree rooted at node number u. Imagine that u has k children, c1, c2, so on till ck. Let's say that I do not include any edge that has one of its endpoints same as u. This means that my problem breaks down into same kind of sub problems, right? And as we saw, the answer to my overall problem is nothing but maximum of dp of 1 comma 1 and dp of 1 comma 0. So for these problems, these are same as the original problem. So their answers are also going to be similar, right? So answer for this guy is going to be nothing but max of dp of c1 comma 0 and dp of c2 c1 comma 1. This thing is going to be the maximum possible size of matching that you can get out of a subtree rooted at node number c1. Similarly for c2 and so on till ck. So your answer is going to be the sum of these matching sizes, and therefore your answer becomes summation max dp of ci comma 0 comma dp of ci comma 1. For all the child nodes of u, you have calculated their answers and added them up together to evaluate dp of u comma 0. So that's cool. We have one of the recurrences. What about the other recurrence? So thinking about dp of u comma 1, that means I do select one of these edges. Now since I'm selecting one of the edges, it really matters which one of the edges do I select. So I'll just make a more clear diagram for that. So this is your node number u. These are some of the edges. Let's call it c1, c2. I'll call this ci and this one ck. So u has k number of children, and let's say that I'm selecting the edge from u to ci. Okay, I have k possible options of, or k possible edges to select out of, and I'm going to select one of these edges. Among these k possible edges, I'm going to select one, and since there are only k possibilities, whichever of these possibilities is the best is going to be my dp of u comma 1. So first of all, I'll just evaluate what is the answer for if I select the edge u comma ci. So if I select the edge u comma ci, then for the left children, all the child nodes from c1 till ci minus 1, I can simply take the best possible answer for each of them separately, right? I can take the best answer for c1, the subtree rooted at c1, what is the maximum possible size of matching. Similarly for c2 and so on till ci minus 1. Similarly, since I'm selecting the edge u to ci, for the nodes at the right hand side, that is ci plus 1 till ck, I can take the maximum possible size of matching for those subtrees also, right? And they will be totally independent because none of the edges of their parent, like none of the edge that has one of the root nodes of that subtree has been selected yet. So it's going to be something like, since I'm selecting UCI, so my answer is going to be the answer for C1, answer for C1 plus answer for C2 plus so on till answer of Ci minus 1. So hopefully till here it's clear. Answer of C2 simply means this thing. So answer of Ci is basically nothing but this thing, right? So till here there was no problem since the edge from u to c1, u to c2 and u to ci minus 1 weren't selected. But when you come to use to CI, this means that now no more edge can be selected such that CI is an endpoint of it. So you're going to need the best answer for this particular subtree rooted at node number CI such that no edge that has CI gets selected. And what is the maximum possible size of matching in such a case? It is nothing but by definition it is, so it's by definition equal to dp of CI comma 0. This means I won't be selecting any edge that has one of its endpoint equal to CI. And for remaining I can similarly have answer of CI plus 1 plus so on till answer of CK, and that's it. This is going to be my recurrence if I select the edge from U to CI, and I'm going to try out all the k different edges, right? All these k different edges. But if I evaluate this particular thing again and again, it's going to be pretty slow. So what I'll do is I will use prefix and suffix sums. Instead of evaluating answer of C1 till answer of Ci minus 1, I will have a prefix array that will basically a prefix sum array that will give me the sum of the answers till the Cith node, and similarly I will have a suffix array that will give me the right portion, right, from Ck, answer of Ck till answer of some node Ci. I will have this suffix for every I will contain this maintain this thing, and similarly I will also maintain answer of C1 till answer of some node Ci. This prefix also I am going to maintain, and this suffix also I am going to maintain, so that my evaluation for every edge is going to be fast. So when I think about this particular edge, I will just need to add these things. I will need prefix sum till Ci minus 1. I will need this thing, prefix of, or prefix sum till the Ci minus 1th node, plus I will take dp of Ci comma 0, plus I will take the suffix sum from Ci plus 1 till the end, right? And this is going to be your answer plus 1. Why is this plus 1 here? Because you just selected one edge, right? This is going to represent the number of edges in your matching, and you're selecting this edge over here from U till Ci. In this case you are not selecting any edge, so I wasn't adding a 1, right? But in this particular case you just selected this edge, and this remaining thing is some additional answer you're going to get from remaining subtrees. But this one here is for this particular edge, and this is going to be your answer for dp of U comma 1. You have to try this out for every ith child of U. Try out this edge, try out this edge, try out this edge, and so on till try out this edge. So that's it. If you maintain this prefix and suffixes properly, your overall time complexity is going to be big of n, and so is the space complexity, and that is it. This solution will easily pass the time limit. I'll just quickly show you my code. I'll also add the description for the code. I'll also add the code in the description. So I'll quickly show my code here. Here I've just taken the input, and see my final answer is nothing but max of dp1 comma 0, dp1 1, and 1 is the root of my tree. So solve is a little messy here. This is my dp array. First of all, if the node is a leaf node, then what is the maximum possible size of matching that I can get? So my node looks something like this, and it has no child node, right? So this is basically nothing but a tree with a single node, and since there is no edge, my answer is nothing but 0. So if it's a leaf, I simply return and mark the values equal to 0. Otherwise, I evaluate these prefix and suffix sums as I told. Yeah. First of all, in this loop, for this child U, I need the answers of the child nodes to be evaluated first. So I'm going to call all the child nodes of U. I'm going to ignore the parent because I am storing all the edges, but I don't want to evaluate the parent first. So I will ignore if the child is equals to the parent of this node. I will evaluate the answers for all these nodes first. Once these answers have been evaluated, if my node U was a leaf, I simply return my work is done. So yeah, but if it wasn't like leaf node, then I'm gonna evaluate these prefixes. First of all, I push the answers of all the child nodes in prefix and suffix, and then I build up the prefix and suffix arrays. So here I'm simply pushing the answer of every child of this node u in my prefix and suffix array. Here you can clearly see I've simply pushed the answer of the child node, which was nothing but max of dp child 0 and dp child 1. Once I've pushed these, I've built my prefix array, which is nothing but prefix of I plus equal to prefix of I minus 1. Similarly, I've built my suffix array by going from right to left. My dp of source comma 0 is very simple. It's basically nothing but the answer of every child, right? Answer of all the children added up. So I had that at suffix 0. Suffix 0 is nothing but sum of the answers of every child, right? And here the C number represents that currently I am choosing the edge u comma C number. This is nothing but as I said that I am trying out every child node of u from u and ci, and I'm trying, okay, what happens if I take this edge. Yeah, so I'm gonna have this left children. This is going to be give me the sum of the answers till all the children from 1 till ci minus 1. This is the right children. This gives me the suffix answer, and my overall answer becomes 1 plus left children plus right children plus dp of child comma 0. Why 0? Because I cannot select any edge that has the node child as one of its endpoint, right? And that's it. I have evaluated all the dp values using this solve function, and we are done. So guys, I hope this was helpful to you, and thanks for watching. I'll be adding this code in the description for your further reference.